In today's video, I'm going to talk about Linsanity and how it took over the New York Knicks, Madison Square Garden, and New York City in 2012, and how Melo ruined the career of Jeremy Lin and also led to Mike D'Antoni quitting on the Knicks. Now, before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and share this content as it helps out the channel. Now, the year is 2012 and the Knicks have started off the season 8-15 and are struggling. Melo gets hurt and a guy by the name of Jeremy Lin gets his chance. After starting the season coming off the bench and only appearing in 9 of the first 23 games, he gets his chance to be the starting point guard for the New York Knicks. The Knicks rip off 7 victories in a row with Lin at the point guard spot. He averages 25 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds over the next 10 games as the Knicks go 8-2. He scores 20 or more in 9 of the 10 games. He winds up with a career-high 38 against the Lakers during that stretch and also hits a game-winning 3-point shot against Toronto en route to a 27-point and 11-assist game. Upon Carmelo Anthony finally returning from his injury, the Knicks can't seem to gel with Lin and Melo on the floor together, as Melo prefers an isolation offense and D'Antoni prefers Lin running a high pick and roll. Over the next 10 games, they go 3-7. Tension starts to creep in as Melo wants the offense to go through him. Mike D'Antoni, thinking he has found his new Steve Nash, is obviously not happy. Mike D'Antoni does not want to go back to the offense that Melo prefers. This eventually leads to Mike D'Antoni resigning after the Knicks lose 6 in a row, and he finishes off his Knicks coaching career 18-24. Here is what some of Melo's critics and teammates have said about the whole Melo vs. Lin situation. Amari Stoudemire, a teammate of Melo and Lin's on that very team, said, quote, "Everyone knew Melo was jealous of Lin." Here is what Chauncey Billups had to say about Carmelo Anthony, a once teammate of Melo's in Denver and in New York.
Scoring 30 meant too much to Melo. It meant too much. He could have games where he had 20, 22, we win the game and he's mad.
George Karl, Melo's former coach in Denver, this is what he says about Carmelo. "Carmelo was a true conundrum for me in the 6 years I had him. He was the best offensive player I ever coached. He was also a user of people, addicted to the spotlight, and very unhappy when he had to share it. He really lit my fuse with his low demand of himself on defense. He had no commitment to the hard, dirty work of stopping the other guy. My ideal, probably every coach's ideal, is when your best player is also your leader. But since Carmelo only played hard on one side of the ball, he made it plain he couldn't lead the Nuggets, even though he said he wanted to. Coaching him meant working around his defense and compensating for his attitude." George Karl continues to trade barbs with Carmelo Anthony on social media. Here's what he said about a week ago. "Almost 10 years ago, Melo was traded to the Knicks from our Nuggets. That trade hasn't been reviewed properly still. I strongly believe it was one of the best trades in NBA history for the Nuggets." Going a bit further with Melo's dislike for Lin and his jealous streak. When the Knicks didn't offer Lin a contract after the season, but rather the Houston Rockets offered him 3 years for $25.1 million, Anthony's comments were, and I quote, "It's up to the organization to say they want to match that ridiculous contract." In conclusion, Jeremy Lin has never regained Linsanity, as he has made 8 stops in his NBA career, playing for the likes of the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Houston Rockets, the LA Lakers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Toronto Raptors. He hasn't played for any of these teams for longer than 2 seasons. This leads us to only be able to speculate what may have happened if Melo and Lin had learned to coexist and Melo would have been willing to let Lin run the offense through him. Knicks fans will have to continue to have a wait until next year mentality. Shout out to everybody rocking with me on YouTube, Instagram, and the Anchor app. You can also find me on Spotify, as well as Apple and Google Podcasts. It's your boy Pat. Peace. Catch you in the next one.